there is a very good side to this, which is that right now, the Democrats are making exactly the same mistake on pro-life that Republicans have made in arguing pro-life for 20 years, which is they are taking the bait. For them, the Democrats have followed their own logic to its conclusion. So now they're arguing about pro-life at the moment of birth. What the Democrats used to always do was try to argue about pro-life at the moment of conception. And so they would say, were you telling me a little egg that has been fertilized for 1 hour, that's a baby, and if you take that out, that's murder? Now, this is a disingenuous argument because no abortion happens at one day, happens weeks and weeks later, and often in the second trimester, and now apparently in the third trimester. So it's a disingenuous argument. But in both instances, you have the left and the right following their ideas to their logical conclusions. So if abortion is wrong, if it's morally similar to murder, if it is murder, then it's not wrong at some arbitrary deadline. It's not wrong because it sprouts a couple fingers or because it opens its eyes or something like that. It's wrong from the beginning. It's intrinsically wrong. It's wrong from the moment of conception. That's the logical conclusion of abortion being wrong. Now, if abortion is not wrong, if it's, it's just nothing, it's perfectly fine, then it's not just that it's not wrong at the moment of conception, it's not wrong at the moment of birth. And frankly, if it's not wrong at the moment of birth, it's not wrong an hour or two after birth. And really, if it's not wrong an hour or two after birth, it's not wrong when they enter kindergarten. They're taking their idea to its logical conclusion. The left has been radicalized. It's been radicalized, I think, in part by Donald Trump. That has accelerated it. But this has been growing for a long time. The left's radical abortion agenda on demand, not just at the moment of birth, but after birth. I love that we are now arguing about abortion there because as a matter of principle, both sides have to accept that. The right has to accept that life is life at the moment of conception, and the left has to accept that the fetus, the morally irrelevant embryo, has to remain morally irrelevant even at the moment of birth. They both have to follow that to its conclusion. But just from a PR perspective, just from an optics perspective, for people who don't think about this very deeply, it's much easier to argue for pro-life at the moment of birth than it is at the fertilization of an egg. It just is. We just see the pictures. This is why sonograms are so helpful to the pro-life cause, is that you see that it's not just some little blob of something. It's a baby with a face and eyes and nose and a mouth and little fingers. It's not that the fingers make it a morally significant being. It's that the fingers remind us that it is a morally significant being. It's a person. It's a human. It's a living human being. I have friends who support abortion. I have friends who have had abortions who say that late-term abortion is infanticide. Now, they don't see that it's morally grave in the second trimester and the first trimester, too. They can't see that. But they can all see it at the end. When you look at the public opinion polls, over 80%, 90% of people oppose late-term abortion. It's so obviously a baby. Let's keep Democrats fighting this here. This is absolutely a terrific place to be having this battle. Governor Northam, I'm going to donate to his campaign so that he keeps going on the radio and exposing his moral depravity.